So, whenever an activism movement becomes popular, I like to consider the merits of that movement before just joining in. By now, you probably heard of hashtag Team Trees. It all started when Mr. Beast hit 20 million subscribers, and basically all of his followers were constantly sending him messages about planting 20 million trees, one for every subscriber he got. Now he's trying to make that happen. 20 million trees by 2020, so that's 2 months from now. This movement is not without its criticisms. Definitely it's a short time frame, and it's a bit unreasonable to assume that every dollar donated equals one tree planted. It probably takes a lot more work than that, than what $1 could account for. But I'm for it. You know, if we can get even a quarter of that amount of trees planted, that's all for the better. So because of all of this, YouTube is being flooded with tree-related content in order to kind of game the algorithm and bring all the tree content to everyone's recommended page. And I kind of like that. I think it's very funny to see every kind of YouTuber use their craft for trees, pretty much. So tree-related this, tree-related that. So I'm joining in. We're going to be planting as many trees as possible in SolidWorks. Before we get started, I'll just point out that my computer is not that great. So hold on a second. So yeah, I got this computer back in 2012. As you can see, it is a 3rd gen Core i7 CPU. It was pretty good back in the day, but not so much right now. So when trying to pattern as many trees as possible, yeah, just wish me the best. So over here, you may remember this tree. This was from the decimation video that I made a couple weeks ago. And I'm gonna use a similar technique where I'm gonna render this tree with as few polygons as possible so I can pattern it as many times as possible. So remember, SolidWorks keeps all the surface information of all the faces, all the facets of every solid model in memory whenever you have the part open. So if we're gonna get as many trees as we can, we're gonna have to minimize the number of facets. So this is when it was done. After the decimation occurred, this tree has 500 facets. And I think we're gonna have to go way lower than that. So I re-imported it as a graphics body, and I should be able to go to my mesh modeling and say decimate mesh body. Do that, and instead of 400, let's see what 100 looks like. I'll hit calculate. All right, it says the tolerance is too small. So let me hit cancel on that and just put the tolerance up. All right, so that's what it looks like with 100 faces. Let's see if we can go a little bit further. So reset, calculate, 80 faces. Can we go to 60? Yeah, this is looking, oh no, that's a little too abstract. Let's leave it at 80 faces. Yeah, it's a very simple tree. It looks like a tree that you would see in like the original Spyro game, you know, good old PlayStation 1 graphics. But we'll run with this and see how many times we can pattern it. So before I do that, this is a graphics body, and if I convert it, it's going to be a mesh body. I don't want to use mesh bodies because when I pattern it over a solid, it's going to start creating more and more facets as the number of instances increases. So I want to turn this back into B-rep geometry. So in order to do this, I'm going to save as, and I'll save it as another STL, and I'll just put 80 for the 80 facets that it has. All right, so that's saved out. Yeah, sure, we can save it, I guess. All right, and now I'm going to change the import settings. So I'm going to file format, STL. Instead of importing as a graphics body, I'm just going to say import as a solid body, and make sure create mesh bodies is unchecked. I'm going to be working with regular B-rep geometry. So finding that file, give me 1 sec. All right, it's opening it up, and now we have that decimation open as a regular solid. All right, so I see a little bit of weirdness here. Let me really quickly run import diagnostics. So that's evaluate import diagnostics. Yeah, it does not like that bottom there. So let me do attempt to heal all, see what that wants to do. All right, it didn't do anything. So let me see if I can delete the faces here. Yeah, I'm not sure how this is gonna go. Yeah, that one's acting super weirdly. Super strange. Delete. No, it doesn't like it. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to start selecting a bunch of this. So this is just holding down control and clicking all the faces. Right click, and I'm going to save the selection. And now I'm going to copy all those faces. So offset surface, set to 0. And in here, throw in my selection set. There we go. And let me hide this body away. And let me use the delete face command again. But instead of deleting all those garbage faces, I'm going to throw in the selection set again. So that'll separate this as its own separate body. And yeah, you can see it's acting really weirdly. Gonna grab this body and just delete the entire body. So deleting an entire body is really robust rather than just deleting the faces. But now we need to patch this, but that should be simple. Going to our planar surface command, select open loop, and that should bound that completely. Knit surface, select all 3 entities, create it into a solid, and now we have fixed this. And let me save, just so I don't have to do that all again. And let me just stuff this into a folder. Import. Alright, there we go. I do want to apply colors, but I might try and do that at the end. I don't want SOLIDWORKS to have to worry about propagating visual properties, but what I will say, just make it brown. Since the dirt is going to be brown, yeah, we're going to have dirt eventually. The dirt's going to be brown, the trunk is going to be brown, and the trees, the leaves itself, of course, green. But I'll worry about that later. So the way I'm going to try to do this is I will start with 1 tree, and then I will pattern it to 4 trees, and then basically use move copy bodies to keep patterning and combining it together. So what we don't want SOLIDWORKS to do is, to pattern it all at once, because not only does it keep track of all the surface data, it'll keep track of how many bodies there are. And I know from experience, so when SOLIDWORKS gets a lot of bodies, it tends to slow down a lot. So I want to avoid having multiple bodies and, just keep combining after every pattern operation. So anyway, let's get this patterned over. So let's see where the origin is. Yeah, it's right here. So yeah, I'll try and basically pattern towards 1 quadrant. So if I make it to the boundaries of SOLIDWORKS, so if you didn't know, SOLIDWORKS actually has a maximum size for parts, which is 500 meters in any direction from the origin. So that is a total of a kilometer in length in each direction. So I don't think we'll get there, but if in that case, we can start patterning to the other side and things like that. But let's see how this goes. Going to our linear pattern. This is a body itself. So yeah, I know I said I didn't want to pattern the bodies themselves because of the count, but just to get us started here, we'll do something like that. Oops, I actually wanted the other direction as well. So we'll start with 4. Set to 2 and just turn that up to 120, it looked like. Okay, there we go. Now we have 4 trees. So I've planted 4 trees in SOLIDWORKS. Well, not really planted. We got to get some dirt, right? So let me get a corner rectangle. Just do it right there. And I'll do something like this. And it looks like that wants to be 235. So yeah, it's not going to be perfectly centered. Even 230. No, 235. It's not going to be perfectly centered, but that's okay. I just want to get the trees in there. Extrude 10 millimeters, and I want it to go in the down direction. Merge result. That'll turn this to 1 body. I'll save, because you don't know what will happen now. And now the loop that I am going to do is I'm going to use move copy bodies to just copy this entire body. And the reason I'm using this feature is got a copy, but it also says, I can use from point to point instead of just typing in a distance. So from this point to this point, we get something like that. Right click to accept. There we go. And then I can follow that up with combine using the add functionality. And now it's just rinse and repeat. So we have 8 trees. Doing that, getting our point from here to here. Combine, move copy. Yeah, so it's already starting to slow down a little bit. But keep in mind, I'm also running my screen recording software. I'm running Audacity. And so, yeah, my computer's got a lot to do, and it's old. It's a dinosaur. Combine. But it seems to be doing pretty well for itself as of right now. So that should be 64 trees there. Just keeping the body count. Oh, I've selected the wrong point for the move. So vertex 2 instead of that bottom one, it's gotta be the top one. There we go. Now combine. That's 64 trees. All right, that's 128. All right, 256. All right, that should be 512 there. All right, let's go for 1024. So move copy bodies. Yep, they're working. Okay, I'm a little bit scared for this next part. I'm gonna save. All right, rip the dream. Let's see. You can do it. Go, go. Oh my God, here we are. So the final save. All right, so 1,024 trees. So let's see how long that took to compute. You can actually check using performance evaluation. All right, so this last operation took 140 seconds, took more than 2 minutes to compute. And then you can see how that scales down. I think that's as much as my computer can handle. So 1,024 trees, at least in a part file. So what I'm thinking now is that pretty recently the large design review for SolidWorks got upgraded so that you can actually place parts in an assembly in large design review, which is basically minimal commitment to memory. And I think we can plan a little bit more trees. So let's see how far we can take this. But in order to place them, I'm going to take advantage of the magnetic mates functionality. So before I do that, I'm going to go to Asset Publisher and just define a ground plane here as the bottom of this thing. Hit OK. We should be good. And what Asset Publisher is going to do for us is when I place this in an assembly, if I establish a ground plane before I place it, it'll automatically snap to the ground. And that is going to help me because I don't want to have to be applying mates when my computer is struggling this much. So after the save, I'll go ahead and open up an assembly, place one instance, save that, and then reopen it in large design review, and then continue from there. All right, so let's start a new assembly. Let's do this. We gotta put the ground plane, so insert reference geometry, ground plane. We'll set it to the top plane, and now we'll insert this. All right, let's see. As long as we can get one, we can save this. Yeah, that's fine. As long as we can save this, you know, we can get this into large design review and then continue from there. Okay. For the trees. All right, now I'm just gonna window close all, I'm gonna purge memory right now. Okay, and now I'm gonna reopen that. I'm gonna press the R key on my keyboard to bring back my most recent files. And over here, I'm gonna click this little arrow for the tree. So instead of mode resolved, We're gonna go large design review, and I'll take this box for edit assembly. This is what's gonna allow me to place more instances. So yeah, large design review is, you have a large assembly, and you just kind of want to look at it, and recently you can do some very basic edits, but among those very basic edits is adding a component. So I think we'll be able to make this work once this loads up. Okay, so our graphics have finally generated. That took a minute, and let's add more. So I have this in edit mode. I'm gonna see if my control, click, and drag. So if I hold down control, click this, and then drag, does it want to copy? No. What if I do this? I click on this line item, I go edit, copy, edit, paste. It's doing something. Can we get 2048 trees? All right, I think we did it. So let's see if we can pull. Oh my gosh. Here we are. Good Lord. 2048 admittedly brown trees. Should we go for 4096? I think so, but after a save. All right. Let's grab both of these. Edit. Copy. Oh, I can't copy multiple components. I didn't know that, but that's okay. I guess we'll have to do this. Okay, it just appeared. So I think that makes this 3072 instances of trees. And look, they're kind of in their own separate continents. But let's go for 4096. Paste. And finally, it appears. So I'll be honest with you, I don't think that my computer can handle any more. I think if I had all day for it to, keep waiting for these long rebuilds, then possibly. But I think that's as much as it's gonna get. Ooh, they're on different planes. I guess that didn't work out so well. But let me see if I can try and make these all coincident. Mate. Alright, there we go. So you can add very basic mates in large assembly mode, or large design review, excuse me. And yeah, let's put them side by side. It's admittedly a very brown forest. But I think that's about it. 4096 trees. So definitely I want to retry this challenge once I get better hardware, just to see, how it works out. And just for fun, let's see if I can do this. If I go to walkthrough, start walkthrough. All right, so we can generate a walkthrough, and using WASD, I can, oops, that was a little too far down. Get into a perspective mode. Shift and down. A little more. There we go. I am walking through my forest of trees. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm right up next to one. So here's the forest that I planted. I know the brown leaves don't make it look too impressive, but I'm still happy that I got as many instances as I did. I wasn't expecting to get so many. So SolidWorks was built in late 1995 in order to be a tool to help engineers bring their dreams into reality. There's a lot of things you can make in SolidWorks, but the whole point, the whole driving force for its development was so that you can model things to have an impact on real life. In SolidWorks are the dreams, and out comes the reality. So if this is our dream, these 4,000 trees, a small part of the 20 million that we're going for, let's see what real life looks like. Come on, Stella. You want to see some of these trees we planted? Stella, they're over here. All right, so let's walk over to this first set of trees here. So this tree here that we've planted, that's a flamboyant tree. And over here, I believe this is a lime tree. It's not bearing any fruit yet, but just you wait. Over here, we have planted this too. I believe my mom said this is a powder puff tree. So there you go. And here, yeah, this is another flamboyant tree. I can tell by these leaves. Not much of an arborist, but I can tell the difference between these. All right, and this tree that we planted here, I believe this is a cubanola tree. Yeah, you see there's like a bell. That looks pretty cool. Here's another tree. So this over here is a mango tree. We didn't plant it, but you know, still pretty chill. And this right here recently planted is a sweet almond tree. So if you turn on your smell-o-vision, you can actually tell that it has a very nice fragrance. Ooh, doesn't that smell nice? And these flowers apparently like to attract butterflies. So I think here's a tree that we planted 2 years ago. This is a banana tree. So yeah, it's shedding a lot of its leaves already, but you know, we got a lot of healthy ones coming back in. And yeah. What'd you find there, Stella? Is that a pine cone? You see, trees are so great that they grow dog toys. Alright, Stella, so you want to check out this jacaranda tree here? So yeah, this is a little seedling, I think 8 months old. And apparently these are supposed to be very tall boys. They can grow up to 50 or 60 feet tall, or you know, about 20 meters. And yeah, that'll be really nice in a couple of decades because we have the driveway here. That means that this whole area is going to be under a very nice, cool shade, and yeah, it'll just be very pleasant to be under. So in addition to all these trees that we've planted, we have all of these that are waiting to be planted. So these are trees that we all raised them from the seed. So over here are guava trees, actually. So these are from Puerto Rico. So we can't wait to get those in the ground. And over here is an avocado tree. So if you look really closely there, you can see there's that avocado pit, and it's just doing its best to become a little tree. So yeah, can't wait to get those planted. So how many is that? Like 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and some miscellaneous plants. Yeah, I don't know if some of these are plants too, but are plants trees anyway? I don't really know, but it's gonna be good to get them in the ground anyway. So we're excited for that. Stella, what do you think of all this? Pretty cool, right? So yeah, if you can't donate to the Team Trees fundraiser, that's totally fine. You know, you can just do what we did, you know, just plant a couple of trees around. You know, lots of benefits, you know, they bear fruit, they make your property a little bit quieter. But other than that, thanks for watching this quick video, and I'll see you next time. Stella, say bye. She's so cute.